G'day everyone. We are going to do another restoration on a Toyota Camry 2004 model. As you can see, there's a lot of actual external, probably this road grime, car exhaust, sunlight. This is so we're just going to give it a quick clean first, you know, because what you should have is a checklist. It doesn't matter what you do. If you want to do this and do it right, you need to have a checklist. So you just clean the area, clean the light, just to get that top layer of grime and that off. This is just water. So I'm just trying to get rid of any excess dirt, just to make that sanding process a little simpler, because otherwise you've got to sand all through that as well. Okay, so we're just going to prep. So checklists are really important, you know. So step one, we are going to prep just generally with the cloth and water. Step two, we will tape off the area. Step three, sanding. And then step four, we're just going to do the clear coat. So it doesn't matter how good you think you are, a professional always has a checklist. You know, for example, a pilot might have flown 1,000,000 miles, but what's the first thing he does when he sits in that cockpit? I can guarantee you, he goes for a checklist and makes sure everything's done in order and done correctly. So if you think you could get away with not taping because, you know, you're good enough not to accidentally hit the paint and might cost you 5 times more than what you're getting paid to repair it, well, that's a lesson I don't think you want to learn. So just follow a checklist, and this one is super simple for the headlights, you know. Prep, tape, sand, and clear. You know, well, even after you're sanding, you're still going to give it that one more wipe over to prep the surface, you know what I mean? So let's see here, go in there. Okay, what we do now is I go through 3 lots. I started at 400, sometimes even heavier, you know, like I'm thinking that even today I might, because this car has you know, has over 20 years on it, and the fact is that it's lived in mining towns in the outback, you know, where it's hot and dusty, so it's fairly been beaten with the elements. So this is a really good example of what we can be doing. I did do the other side with the 600, so this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a step more. So this time I'm going to go with the 240, then the 400, hit it with the 6, and then I'm even going to go to the 12 just to see the results, and I think we'll get a better idea of what we're going to be getting. So as that, see that, like I had this fold there and I was stripping this way, so I think it's better if I'm like here, so the pressure, or you can fold it one more time just to make sure that it's staying solid and it's not curling over or anything like that. And straight away with that 240, feel the yellow, you're getting rid of the oxidation off the light. And it is really easy to miss a lot of the edges, you know, because you know you do the main bit, but proper preparation promotes perfect outcomes. So make sure you get right on those edges, because it really is worth it on the end run when you are doing that clear coat. You know, this 240 is getting rid of all that oxidation. Sanding away the years right there. You know, so like I'm not a professional at this, and if you've been watching my channel, you will see that this is only my second headlight that I've ever done, but this is something that you can learn along the way. You know, this is my own vehicle, so I'm not too concerned about making an error at the minute, because it's all a learning opportunity, and I hope that if you can pick up anything from this as well, fantastic. You know, so that first coat is done. Okay, so that looks like it's got a lot of the oxidation off. It's got that top surface. So now we will start with the 400. Just get in there. And you know, if you are looking at starting something like this as a business, it is a really low entry point. I'm still using the stuff that I first bought. That cost me 50 bucks. You know, because I'm not doing this for fame or fortune or anything. I just want to have a go and show the kids that you know, they can make something from nothing if they really wanted to. And do you want to do this full time, or do you want to have this as a side gig, like a bit of a side hustle, you know, and just earn that couple extra bucks? Because that's exactly what I'm doing. But the fact is, if you do the maths, you know, you could build this up to a really comfortable business. You know, just doing a few headlights a week could just look after your rent, help with your payments, anything like that. Like, you know, I know that people charge various prices, and You know, like even $100 to some people is probably on the low end, depending on the light. But even if you averaged it out at $100 for a car, you know, once you get a couple of customers, you know, once you build it up, if you get to 4 customers a day, you know, Monday to Friday, you know, if you're able to, you could start 8 o'clock in the morning, potentially be home lunch, just after lunch, depending on where you've got to travel to do it. But just by doing that, having the 4 customers a day for 5 days, you've now got yourself a $100,000 business as a side gig or as a main hustle, you know, and you can go even further. Something to think about. So if this is the kind of content you like, you know, hit the button, follow along, become a subscriber, and let's see if I can go through this with you. Okay, I've now just done the 600, looking for any little bits that I might have missed. So what I've learned, even just from that last one that I've done, when you think you've done, give it another couple of minutes on that same grade of sandpaper. Okay, the 600's done. Can't feel anything. What I did notice from the other light and the age and just the degradation of the light itself, once it was completely finished, I did notice like little fractures and that, but that's within the plastic or on the inside of the plastic. There's places that we can't get to, so we can only prepare the surface we best we can. Okay, we'll hit the last time with the 1200. This should actually get out the stuff we don't like anymore. Like I said, when it does that, just fold it that one extra time just to secure the paper a bit, you know. Okay, we'll do the final pass over with the 1200 before our next step. So, like I say, when you think it's enough, just give it another minute or so of that rubbing, you know, because you'd be surprised just what that extra 120 seconds could do to the prepping area when you want to put on your clear coat. And like I done the original side a few days ago, and then I left this for a bit because I just wanted to do the the comparison. And like the very first time that I drove at night, I turned the lights on, and I kid you not, like the side that I just cleaned opposed to the way this was before I started. Talk about night and day. Like, I actually, if you didn't know, you would have thought one headlight was working and one headlight was out. It was so dim and yellow and dangerous on this side, and the other side is like I just put an LED light globe in there. It was really unbelievable. I just could not believe the difference. So not only is this helping with the aesthetics of the car, it's promoting safety on the roads, you know, because cars can see you a lot better, and I kid you not, you can see the road 10 times better than it was before you got it done. So that should just be about it. You can see right now how much of a comeback this has had. You notice with the sanding process, you know, and you always see stuff about on the channels, you know, restore your headlight permanently, rudder. Like I'm telling you now, there is no such thing as a permanent repair, and that's to do with anything, not just headlight restoration. What can you say is a permanent? You just don't know. You know, I can guarantee you that permanent repair, you let it sit outside for a year, and let's see how permanent it was. But yeah, all I'm saying is, if people are selling you the goods saying it's a permanent repair, it's really not. Trust your gut. Trust your gut. Because they say when you pray, you are talking to your God. But intuition and your gut feeling, that's when God is talking to you. So let's just clean this off. Careful around here, so make sure it's dry for when I've got to put the plastic down for when I'm spraying. When I start making some money doing this, the first thing I'm going to get is one of those little turbojet blowers and blow all this out, so you don't have to worry about any water getting on that clear, because I'm sure after all your hard work, the last thing you need is drips of water coming down on your work. So we're going to see how that dries out and see if we've done an okay job for the next step. Okay, that seems to be okay. I don't think we're going to get it much better. There is a couple of really fine micro cracks, but they're within the plastic, so I cannot do much about that. So the next step, which is super important, is the alcohol. So this lets us clean all the surfaces the best we can with this alcohol rub and get it prepped for the clear coat. Okay, seems like we've got a bit of a winner, so now I am going to retape the headlight because I've got to do this so I've got somewhere for the plastic I can stick to, because like I say, until I make any money from this business, I'm not putting any more money into it. And when that happens, I'll get that tape with the plastic and all that. But at the moment, I'm just retaping, and then I'm just going to use just a kitchen tidy bin liner. I've just cut it, opened it out, and we'll see how that goes. So we're ready for the clear coat. Ideally, you'd want a better nozzle, the one that releases the spray vertically, okay? So you can go like this. So when you're doing this, you want to be about 4 inches away. You follow the contour, and you just want to do this whole thing in one coat. So with my last one, I didn't quite have the speed and the know-how, and I did get a few runs in there, so I had to re-sand the whole thing and do it all over again. But so, like I say, the ideal one is to get a proper nozzle. This is just a generic one. This just sprays out. So I'm just going to have to do quick and do that 4 inches, and here we go. And that 50% overlay, and you just want to do that one nice coat, and okay, let's have a look. That is a whole lot better from when it started. Like you can see a little bit of fogging and things like that, but like I say, this is all internal. You know, you can only do the best you can do. You know, you can see it. It's nothing on the outside. So I'm pretty happy with that. So we can just let that dry for a bit, and then from there we'll take it off. So The sun's just in perfect time. You know, I am going to be looking for other products. You've got to start somewhere, so. Well, if there's anything that you got from this, you know, leave a comment, leave a like. Have a great day.